In this video, we're gonna go through the pros and cons of phone sales and door-to-door if you're in solar. Coming up. All right guys, thanks for joining me again to another solar video on the channel. My name is Ivan, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, make sure you do, because there's a lot of content coming your way, once or twice a week. That's gonna be very consistent, so be sure to subscribe. Again, if you like the content of this video, and you watch it to the very end, make sure you give it a like as well, and make a comment. That helps me get boosted up and helps me get discovered. All right, so again, this is a topic that a lot of people are really butthurt about. Let's be honest, right? Reason why, because people that are doing phone sales are like, oh, door-to-door sucks, man. And people that are doing door-to-door and have grown massive companies that way, or people that have built, stable, 15 to 20 jobs or 25 to 30 jobs a month type companies, in solar, they're gonna defend their end of the deal, right? So again, this is not about who, which one's better. It's about putting it all on the line, and this is gonna be obviously my opinion. Been in the solar industry for over 3 years now. I've seen a lot of companies honestly just start from nothing and grow massive sales organizations. I've seen them both ways. I've seen them in a door knocking space and in a phone sales space, all right? And so it doesn't matter how you sell. What matters is that it works for you and you make a killing in solar. But in this video, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a breakdown of pros and cons and that, again, that's strictly my opinion, so you don't have to buy into it. But again, if you think by the end of this video that I've missed anything out, put it in the comments, right? I would love for you to get involved and let me know what I've missed out, right? So again, what's better, phone sales or door knocking, right? So I'm gonna go through some scenarios right now, and ease of scalability, timing, all that kind of stuff, right? So let's get right into it. If you're in phone sales, right, let's start with the cons first. I would tell you that one of the hardest thing to do is probably build enough trust from when you're selling over the phone, because the fact of the matter is that you're selling an expensive product. Solar is a premium product, right? And 40, 50, 60 grand to sell over the phone is quite a bit, right? So technically you're selling a loan, but it doesn't matter, right? It's still, you have to commit to something that's rather big. And solar, for most people, will probably be the second or third biggest, investment they'll ever make in their lifetime, right? So again, it could be rather difficult to convince someone, if they're not seeing you, if they cannot feel your energy. So I would say that probably building trust will be a con, right? So building trust. Right? So, writing phone. So, another con that I can think of right now is the fact that, people could very easily hang up on you, as opposed to when you're talking to, for example, if you're talking to somebody on the door, right? So obviously they cannot get rid of you that quickly. They could, but some people are a little bit more considerate, so they'll stay with you for a moment or two just to not be rude, basically, because it's face to face. The interaction is, a lot different that way. So, but I would, to be honest with you, I wouldn't really consider it, something bad necessarily, because honestly, if you're not interested in solar, and if you don't even want to hear how to save, 50 to 100 bucks on your electric bill, you're not my type of customer anyway, right? Not that you're selling on savings. There's other ways to build value when you're selling systems, but you know what I'm referring to, right? So you rather know right out of the get-go if that's gonna be someone that it's worth talking to and spending time on or not. So again, trust is probably one of the few cons that phone sales would have over, for example, if you're selling door to door. So that I would put in trust. Now, right, I'm writing door to door, right? So again, when I say trust, that doesn't mean that if you're in phone sales, building trust becomes impossible. It means that it's a little bit more difficult. There's a way to do it, but it's a little bit more difficult to build trust when you're over the phone and you're not seeing the customer, they're not seeing you. There's no instant rapport. Like, you have to build it. You have to spend the time, right, to make sure that you build rapport with the customer before you even start, pitching them on solar, right? So again, door to door, I would think of a con again. I mean, again, time, all right? Time is a very huge factor in door to door, all right? So I would put in timing, okay? And the reason why it's time is because, look, if you're going door to door, obviously you're gonna have to do some prospecting, so you have to go out of your way, right, to knock some doors in the neighborhood, right, or whatever whatever field you're in. So, but the thing is, if you live in an area that gets really hot in the summer, and you guys in Arizona and Nevada, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You're getting baked in the summer in that 120-degree weather. And it becomes very difficult to even motivate your salespeople to go out there and do it, right? Unless they're, it's just really, really difficult all in all, right? They would much rather, sit in an office that is, that the air conditioner is blasting all day long as opposed to going out and door knocking, right? So I would put in time. Time is the first issue. The pro, obviously, for phone sales is the fact that you save a lot of time. You don't have to drive there and back. You don't have to spend time, with uninterested people. If somebody's uninterested, you keep going, right? You hit the other leads in your pipeline, right? That's the beautiful thing about, people hanging up on you, for example, or not being interested. They don't waste your time, you can get on with the next one and next one and next one, and that's how you get to an appointment. Whereas if it's door to door, that costs you a lot more energy and a lot more resources, because you physically have to drive yourself into a neighborhood, right, which is gas money, right? And if it's a hot sunny day, you're getting baked in the summer, right? And it's not nice. So you don't have to do that when you're selling over the phone, right? So timing is a huge factor. Motivation, I kind of mentioned it. I don't know why I said that when I was talking about time, but motivation of salespeople, and in general, just you being motivated to go out there and generate your own business. Again, if you're a go-getter, it probably doesn't matter how you do it. You're gonna find a way, right? And there's an easier way to actually generate your leads and appointments, and that is when you actually doing phone sales. Because if you're doing phone sales, most likely either somebody's generating the leads for you, you're buying leads, or you have some sort of pipeline that you're going after, right? So that's exactly what I'm referring to when I mean by again, motivation. So I'm gonna write it down. Very difficult to motivate people when they're selling door to door versus when they're selling over the phone. Just put in motivation, okay? Over the phone, we'll probably get that. Why? Because first of all, they're gonna get leads to call right away. They don't have to go out there and get rejection after rejection after rejection, right? Not that they're not gonna get any here. Of course, doesn't matter what industry you're in, you're gonna get rejected. But the thing is, it's a lot worse if you're at the door and somebody just gets mad at you for going out there and doing unsoliciting visits. So with the phone sales, there's That is not even a question. And the fourth thing that I'm gonna put on the board is scalability, okay? Scalability, so scale, right? Right here's scale. Right, so it's a lot, in my opinion, it's a lot easier to scale if you're doing phone sales than it is when you're doing door-to-door. And the reason why is because every single little thing that I just mentioned, right? So the motivation it's a lot more difficult to motivate people to, go out there and do door knocking and do self-gen as opposed to sitting comfortably at a desk, right? And pounding the phone and generating appointments that way, right? It's a lot easier to motivate people to do that. And if you've done both, you probably know exactly what I'm referring to. So again, scalability. Why do I mention scalability? Because in any company, if you have a significant goal, to get to, you want to make sure that you achieve growth, right? And you want to make sure that you have scalability in your business model. Not saying that with door-to-door you cannot do that. It's just it becomes a little bit more difficult simply because you're doing that, at the expense of other people, showing up and being motivated and that sort of thing, right? So again, let's recap everything. So we have phone sales and door-to-door. So I believe the pros for phone sales is time. You can do it a lot more efficiently. It's a lot more efficient. If somebody doesn't show up to an appointment, all you have to do is just pound the next one on the list, okay? Just call the next lead on the list, all right? You're not wasting any time. If you're doing this with, if we're doing this with door-to-door, if you generate an appointment, for example, right? First of all, you're having to do a lot of self-gen, and then when you generate an appointment, if you're the same person that's closing, and you go to the same you go to the house, and then the homeowner is not there, right? Now that sucks. And if you're in door-to-door, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? So in phone sales, like I said, that is not an issue because if somebody doesn't show up, as you know, with phone sales, I mean, with any type of sales, really, it doesn't matter whether it's solar, roofing, whatever the industry, you're gonna have appointment cancellations. And two things for sure, you're gonna have appointment cancellations and failed credit. No way to completely, diminish both. They're all gonna be there, right? So, but when you have an appointment canceled, and you're doing phone sales, you just pound or you call the next one on the list. When you're here, right, and you're doing door-to-door, for example, if somebody doesn't show up, sure, you would follow up once you get to the office, right? But you've already made the time to drive through a 1 hour traffic to get there and back, right? And you've wasted 1 or 2 hours of your time that you could have otherwise put into, generating more appointments and hitting, the rest of your pipeline, right? So, right. And then motivation, right? Again, motivation is a huge factor when it comes to, any sales business, and your ability to grow and scale your company is going to come down to how easy it is to motivate the individuals that are within this organization, right? Again, a lot of people that are already in door-to-door will come at me saying, well, man, you're not being fair, we've built a pretty successful organization. That's not what I'm saying, all right? I'm trying to be, I'm not trying to be biased to phone sales. I'm just trying to, put down what I believe to be true, in this, when it comes to this matter, right? And again, motivation is one of the things that I think is detrimental to the growth of the business. If your ability to scale the business, which is obviously at number 4, goes in direct correlation to, your ability to motivate your people, right? It doesn't matter how they do it, if they're doing phone sales or door knocking, right? The fact of the matter is, I would prefer to, sit in an office that is air conditioned all day long, sipping on a cold lemonade, right? And just calling my leads all day long versus going out there getting rejected in my face, right? And sweating my balls off, excuse my French, right? So that goes hand in hand with your ability to scale your business. So I believe that a phone sales, so all in all, again, it sounds like I'm defending the phone sales gang, but that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to be obviously objective when I'm picking these out. And if I'm wrong, let me know in the comments. Just be friendly, because all I'm trying to do is obviously, give you a friendly advice, or honestly, just my opinion, not even advice, just give you my opinion on what I think of these two ways of selling solar. They're both great, okay? I already say, I like saying this a lot, is that if you have something that already works for you, disregard what I'm just saying, okay? Keep doing what you're doing, for sure. But if you think I've missed anything out, make a comment, let me know in the comments below. And honestly, I think, when it comes to solar sales, phone sales is just by far, the easiest way to scale, right? And another way that I probably, as part of scalability too, is I would put as a number 5, location. So if you have location, like right here, location, phone sales, you're not confined to your location. What do I mean by that? If you're in Florida and you live in an area where there's a lot of people with bad credit, a lot of hillbillies, right? So you can get an HIS license, for example, and move to California without physically moving there, right? Whereas if you're selling door to door and you're hitting a bad area, there's very little you can do about it, right? You're just gonna have to expand the radius that you go out, in terms of doing your self-gen, right? So you're not location location independent, and right here, you're location dependent. So this is door to door. So all in all, man, like I said, this is my point of view. Right, wrong, right? Let me know in the comments. Again, this is not giving you advice as to how you should grow your business, but simply my opinion. And if you're enjoying the videos on the channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell notification so you get notified every time a new upload comes on. And if you want to grow your solar business, don't hesitate, but schedule a call down below. Link is in the description. And don't forget to download the Solar Sales Black Book, especially if you're new in solar. Link is in the first link in the description box. And again, if you like the content of this video, give me a thumbs up and make a comment. Like I said, I want to know what I've missed out, okay? This is my opinion, and I want to know what yours is. So again, I wish you well, and I'll see you again on the next one.